Ubuntu is changing its data collection tool that we've talked about in the past to collect statistics now monthly and phone that information home. Is this a good move or a bad move? We'll go ahead and talk about this and my thoughts about it, the multiple sides to this position on today's video. Thanks for checking out this video by Switch to Linux. If you like this type of content, subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so. Leave us a like and a comment down below. And we are going to be talking about changes to Ubuntu's data collection tool. Now, they first rolled out data collection back in 2018, and we had a lot to say about it back then. I think it's fundamentally a problematic thing because for a true privacy advocate, it's a lot more than just your personal data. Everyone's tied up with this. It's not your personal data. No, it's a fingerprint of your computer. And with the type of data trackers that are on the internet, the fingerprint of the computer can be used to identify different points in different ways. Now, Ubuntu did a good thing in that, they did provide you the option whether you wanted to send that data or not. But one of the major concerns that I and other people have said is if you chose not to send that report to Ubuntu, it still pinged Ubuntu servers with a note that said, hey, an install happened and they declined to give the information, which means that Ubuntu now even has a number of collections and even pings. Now, while they say they filter out the IP address, which is the personally identifiable information, it is still technically possible to see or intercept that in some way. And for that, I have a little bit of a concern. Now, that is extraordinarily minor. I'm not saying that they did anything majorly evil here. I'm just pointing out that if somebody says don't send the data statistics, the application should not send anything at all. Period. Nothing. And the fact that it is sending a ping back to the company provides more information than many people in the privacy-focused sphere care for. And that certainly is one of those things to keep in mind. But of course, if you're that concerned, you do need to turn off the internet connectivity checks, which, by the way, I do in my Linux Mint builds. That is a function it can ping off of Ubuntu servers to check for an internet connection. You can turn that on or turn that off. Those are things that you might consider doing inside the settings of Linux Mint, of course. And I think Ubuntu probably has a similar setting somewhere. I don't know. But that was kind of the concern that I had. Now, Ubuntu is just collecting information about the system. But what they have come to recognize is that a single point of data collection was not enough for them. So now their new telemetry tool, which is rolling out, is going to send the statistics of your computer to Ubuntu monthly. This is in some ways a big problem. Now, it's not obviously nearly as bad as Windows 10, which has no options at all. This one here also appears to have a lot more control. Now, I have not verified this, but the way this new report works, and it's a new report. Now, there's a couple things they did. They've open sourced the receiving server so we can audit both ends of the trail. That is good. Okay, so you install the system, it collects the data, it stores it on that JSON file, and then you can choose whether to send it or not. It sounds, from the statistics here, or from the reporting, it sounds as though it may not ping the servers anymore on the first install because it actually waits a week before it sends any report, giving you time to turn that feature off if you do not want to. You can still see the whole report, and it does go into a server which is also open sourced. So you can open source, view the code open source on your computer on the data collection end, and you can see the code that they're running on the receiving server as well to verify the information. And for that, this is a much better job. Now, the reason they want to collect the data monthly is to see the regular usage of the equipment, hardware, new technologies, and things like that. So rather than a single time install, which could be somebody testing it out on a VM, or it could be somebody running it on a regular basis. By collecting statistics on a monthly basis, they see a long-term pattern of what types of features people are using inside their computers. So it will tell you the graphics card, the RAM, system specs, versions, things like that. Now, again, this is not major privacy violating data, but for a person concerned about their fingerprint, like a journalist, somebody like that is deeply concerned about any form of data collection, this is still a violation. However, it is now it says here in the article it's opt-in. I'm not sure if it's going to be opt-in necessarily. I haven't seen the installation means of it yet, but it does give you the option on the install whether you want to send it or not. The question is it opt-in or opt-out is what is the state of that toggle button. In the past, the state of the toggle button has been on. You'd had to manually turn it off during the install. That is an opt-out feature. So I'm not sure which one of those it is. So they say down here, still voluntary, still just system specs. Adding any telemetry will make folks twitchy. I wonder why I was doing that. But anyone brandishes before anyone brandishes the pitchfork or wafts the placard in the air, that would be me. All right. A reminder that Ubuntu added opt-in telemetry in 2018. No, it added opt-out telemetry because the original state of the button is on. So if you just clicked next through every screen, you would have sent the report. That is an opt-out. OMG Ubuntu. You should correct that. All right. So this, I'm guessing, is going to be the same way. But let's go ahead and move over that point. Data collection Ubuntu is opt-in. I think it's opt-out. It is anonymized. This is true. Assuming that their servers are correct, there's no interception of the PHP address, and the server drops all all IP requests immediately. That would be a question. So it's anonymized. It's focused on system specs, not personal data, and it is aggregated. And they say here, example, 5% of installs use the TPM-backed encryption, etc. And that's really the thing, is the reporting point is aggregated, what you can see. The problem is it's impossible to aggregate the data that comes in on a point notice. So if somebody were to compromise that receiving server, they could intercept that data before it happens to be aggregated. And that is one of the concerns people have. Also, I don't know if this new version or not sends a ping that says, yes, an install is here, but they do not want to share the information. I don't think they should be doing that. And there's no comment on this, and it is a different application. So what's planned to change is the tool asks for permission, collates, and then sends the system details only if you agree. And you can very easily see this. Now, the only other things that they've added from previous is it covers the installer and WSL choices. So is this a native machine? Is this virtualized? Is this inside of a Windows computer on WSL? And also what were the installation process and things like that. So that is the other information. So previously, if you agreed to share it, it would generate and send off a one-time snapshot of your system immediately. But Ubuntu Insights will phone home once a month with that data. And again, they said down here, this is to keep more up to date, to see how people are using Ubuntu on a regular ongoing basis. And it says the insights will collect the same hardware data, CPU, GPU, RAM, monitor resolution, TPM status, etc., and a few bits related to the installer options and new tech capabilities. So does it have an NPU? They didn't clarify what that is. So each report is shared locally in plain text. So and we have the exact location of that report. So you can go and look at that. You can look at it, view it anytime. You can give it. And a report is generated in Ubuntu Insights to show you the content before it's sent. Report did not do that, although there was a button to see what it was that wasn't right at the time it was sent. So you can see here it is what they're looking at. This is the collection time. Even something like this could fingerprint you because, this is a collection time. Was this person confirmedly on the internet? There you go. There's a useful piece of information. Version, family, name, and vendor. What's this whole CPU vendor? All these types of things. Here's GPUs, memory, disks, screens. How many screens do you have? Let's see, what's the software running? What's your language pack? What's your desktop environment? Things like that. And then it will enforce a 1 week delay before sending reports. This cooling off period gives you time to review the content and, if desired, revoke your consent, which you can do an Ubuntu Insights revoke in the command line. And that will give you the ability to turn that off. And so you can also do that. this down here, they talks about they have open sourced the server side code. And again, he's emphasizing it is your choice. Now, I have a problem with anything which requires a pinging to the server. So I don't know if they've changed this from the older version of the program, which pings the server to say, hey, somebody does not want to send the system specs. That was useful for Ubuntu to count the number of installations. This, if they still maintain doing that ping just with no data, it would give them a better user count of how many people are actively using Ubuntu. But if you do send that report monthly, it does send the fingerprint of your computer to Ubuntu on a monthly basis. And even though that data is aggregated at some degree, it is still possible to see and intercept such data. The fact that it would send any form of data at all means it is transmitting an IP address, although Ubuntu does drop that, and we can verify that in the source code, but still it might be something that somebody does not want to send. So ultimately for me, I don't care about this. This isn't going to change one way or the other my overall general view of Ubuntu at this time, but I would like to make sure that this application does not even ping home once a month, even if you do not want it to. It should be a toggle switch off, no pings, don't even tell Ubuntu we're here. Or it should be, hey, send it if you want. That's no big deal. That should be ultimately up to the user, and at some degree it is. But we have to remember some people are in high-risk environments, and even transmitting a system report could be used against somebody in this crazy world of AI and data collection and fingerprinting features like that. You could very well de-anonymize what operating system somebody's using, and that in and of itself could be a problematic thing for some people in high-risk environments. And that's one of those things we need to keep in mind. So I don't think this is the end of the world. I don't think Ubuntu is horrible here. In fact, the way it sounds like on the surface, I think this is a better approach than the one they've taken in the past. I really do think that. And it will be, we'll see what it looks like on the installation. Is it truly opt-out, or is it actually really opt-in? And does it send that ping or not once a month? Those are useful pieces of information that we need to see. And so let me know your thoughts about all this. And I know most of my audience has kind of written off Ubuntu a long time ago. And for the most part, I'm kind of in agreement with you. I still do use occasionally Ubuntu servers when I need to. But as far as using the Ubuntu desktop in my day-to-day work, yeah, I gave that up a long time ago with Linux Mint. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.